YouTube, we're Pat and Cori, and we are going to tell you the truth about living in a tiny house.
We've been living in our tiny house for 6 years. It has not been without its faults, that's for sure. We love it, but we are upgrading to a bigger house.
Yes. So we just wanted to make this quick video about the two things that you need to be able to live tiny for as long as we have. The first is flexibility, and the second is problem solving. But before we get into the video, make sure that you like the video, subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media, and comment below if you guys have any questions. Thanks so much for watching. Let's get into it. We're going to give you several examples of how we've used problem solving and flexibility in order to survive in a tiny house for as long as we have. The first example I'm going to give you is that we were very flexible about the size of our tiny house and the design of our tiny house from the word go, because we wanted to find an affordable trailer. So after buying the trailer, that's when we started designing our tiny house, and we were not married to any ideas about our design. We were very flexible and very open-minded about what our house would look like at the end. The width of the wheel wells determined the size of our bed, the placement of the bed, the placement of the kitchen and the bathroom, and basically everything else just kind of fit into like puzzle pieces around those facts that we couldn't negotiate on. The next example is about the batteries.
When we first moved into our tiny house, we were living completely off the grid, off a battery bank and 2 solar panels. One day we came home and the fridge light was blinking, and it went into like fault mode, and we were like, oh no, the fridge crapped itself. We said, okay, well, it's still under warranty, so we called the manufacturer and they said, oh yeah, send it down and we'll have a look at it. They immediately blamed our solar system for what happened. It fried the main board in it. And so we said, oh, no, it wasn't our system. There's no way it could have been, but
Everything was brand new.
They fixed it, but said this is the last time we're going to fix it, and they sent it back. So we plugged it back in, and I think, a week later, it's happened again. And now we're scratching our heads going, why is the fridge breaking? We don't understand. The fridge actually wasn't breaking. It was, one of the batteries was junk when we bought it. And so that was also destroying the other battery, because we have a 24-volt system, and it just led to disaster. But it took us so long to get to that conclusion. Because the batteries were brand new, we thought.
Eventually, we just had to bite the bullet and just buy new batteries. With flexibility and problem solving, we were able to figure it out. So I'm really glad we did. Example number 3 is flexibility over our bathroom design. I personally wanted to just buy a composting toilet. And then we looked into the price, and
we just basically made a little box with a lid and put a bucket in it, and we were shitting in a bucket for, I'd say, a few years.
One of the issues, though, is that you have to have the composting material, which was hard to source after we left Christchurch. It was just becoming more and more challenging to have a place to dispose it and to composting material. So once we got the property down here in Dunedin, we were able to build an outdoor bathroom. We have a video about that. It's really informative and really interesting, and we absolutely love it. All right, let's just talk about some of the flexible design changes that we've made in our tiny house.
I would say the wardrobe area, just because before it wasn't set up well. There was not enough storage for everything, and now you can really, see what you have, pull it out, look at it. It's just, before you couldn't do that. So up here is our wardrobe, which used to be like a set of lockers over here, and then there was like a shelf cabinet unit, and it just wasn't enough space, and it wasn't quite organized enough for us. So now we had a local crate making company make these shelves up for us, just out of plywood. And there's a lot of room to store things. It goes in quite deep, and you can really organize things and hang things up and keep our laundry down here, and it's just way more organized. And I made this crate here, and that just has all kinds of stuff in it as well.
Okay, so one of my favorite changes that we made in the tiny house was definitely in the kitchen area. We were finding it extremely difficult to keep it organized, and Patrick's always on my butt about putting things away in their proper places, and having the correct storage for the space and for your usage is super, super important when it comes to living in a really small space, especially with someone who's a stickler about cleanliness and order like Patrick. So I'd say that is my favorite design change. So let's go check that out right now.
So some of the things that have changed here are the fridge. This is a newer fridge. The other fridge was a solar fridge, which it wasn't. So this one has its own freezer compartment, and it's self-defrosting as well, so you don't have to shut it off and to defrost. We also got a nice big compost bin. And before, the kitchen just had shelves. There was no way to get to the stuff in the back. So these really help with being able to get to access to the back and just keeping things organized and stuff like that. So another thing is our kitchen table. I spent a lot of time making a kitchen table out of recycled Remu and
Butcher block.
It worked good for a while, and then we just realized that it wasn't really suiting its needs, and we found another table for cheap that had storage in it. All I had to do,
right size.
I got to reuse some of the bits off the old table, but it was just much better. So that's another upgrade.
Yeah, definitely. And it kind of sucks if you put a lot of hard work into something in your tiny house, but the point of the tiny house is for you to live in it. And if something is not fit for purpose, if something isn't working for you, there's nothing wrong with changing it.
You might as well make these little changes to, improve your life.
Let's talk about the bathroom. The bathroom was kind of, I'd say, like an afterthought for the majority of the build. We knew we needed to have a shower in there. Patrick really wanted a full-size shower, so we did that. We knew we needed to have a toilet in there, at least at the beginning. But other than that, we pretty much just put 2 crates up in the corner, and we had the under sink suitcase. And that was all we had.
Which wasn't enough storage.
No. There was no cabinetry, no linen closet, no nothing. So we got a basket from Kmart. I got a small stool, which basically just holds some stuff, keeps everything to the wall. And we have a trash can in there.
Some drawers. Oh, I don't know if those were always there, but
yeah, I think the drawers were original. But
the drawers, and there's a nice new shelf near the sink, which has a lot of stuff on it, and you can see it all.
Yeah.
Instead of have to rifle through things, it's all there.
Definitely. Okay, our last example, which is actually outside of the tiny house. I see a lot of people posting on Facebook and Reddit and stuff, asking about hinged decking, or like decking systems that can like fold up and stuff. And if you're mobile in your tiny house, that's a really great way of having extra outdoor living space. But Patrick and I have been through three
or four different locations.
Yeah. And that means 3 or 4 different outdoor areas immediately around the tiny house. So the first one was completely free decking that was actually signage around the art gallery in Christchurch. So we repurposed that, and that was our deck for a little while. It was just temporary, but it was enough to give us outdoor space.
Yeah.
And then when we moved, we just left it on the property, and the owner of the property was just going to burn it. So we didn't think that it was cost effective, feasible, or convenient in any way to have that deck come with the house.
Yeah. We just decided we'll just build another deck solution when we get where we're going to go.
Exactly, because you don't know what it's going to be like. And I'm glad we didn't bring it with us, because when we ended up down here, we knew that we wanted to eventually build a house. So there was no point in making a huge deck.
We built a veranda, so we still had outside living and stuff like that. But there was no need for a deck. It was just like gravel, and then a big roof out over the front.
And we improved it a bit by adding bricks. So we'll show you a photo of that right here. That was fine. That was fine for how long we lived down there, and there was no need for us to have a deck. And then when we moved the tiny house to its now permanent and everlasting position, we decided to build a very sturdy, very permanent, very nice deck
which is on piles, and
Yeah.
a nice veranda, and we were able to reuse a lot of the corrugated iron and stuff as well. So we did it pretty cheap.
Yeah, so I definitely think that flexibility was really key in making sure that your outdoor space suits the location where you are and suits what you need personally, especially because every location is different.
The outdoor space really has saved tiny house living for me.
And probably the reason you like it so much is because it's a good place to keep the dirt and the wet and the mess outside of your house. Excuse our fire. It's like farting right now. It needs some more air.
But yeah,
like to burp the fire.
Being able to take your shoes off outside before you step in really saves a lot of mess inside the house.
Yeah.
Because you're not wearing your shoes in the house.
Just to wrap things up, thanks so much for watching. If you've still watching to the end of this video, we really, really appreciate your support. If you haven't already, make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss anything. We are eventually going to leave this beautiful tiny house. We aren't getting rid of the tiny house, but we are building a normal size house because the time has come for us to move on. We have a video about why we're ditching tiny house life, so if you haven't seen that yet, make sure to visit. We'll put it in one of the top corners up there so you guys can get that easily. If you want to live tiny, go for it. I 100% do not regret the decision that we've made to go tiny. We've saved so much money. We wouldn't be able to be in a house as soon as we had if we hadn't gone tiny. But the two key things that you need to know about living tiny for an extended period of time is to have flexibility and problem solving. Yep. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. See you next time. See you next time. See you next time.
If you guys have any questions, please drop them in the comments and give us ideas for other videos that you want to see and stuff like that.
And stuff like that.